There's a major disconnect with what you want to publish in content for your marketing versus what actually gets found by the algorithms and then placed in front of your target market. And so it was a major mistake that we saw people making, is they would say, well, I want to talk about my product, or I want to talk about this thing happening in the industry. But the disconnect was, are people searching it? Is it trending? Is there any sort of data that we can give back to the machines that says, hey, we're talking about something that people are interested in, so that then they serve it up? So I don't care if you're talking about SEO or hashtags or social media. There had to be a bridge that B2B marketing really was not very good at, between what we want to say and what you need to say in order to be found and in order to be visible. Crystal Jones,
hi.
Welcome. And you guys, welcome to the Marketing Blender Show. I'm Dacia Coffey, and Crystal, one of our fractional chief marketing officers, is joining me today. And let's go. We are talking about whether or not content marketing is dead and whether thought leadership is total BS. Because hello, B2B AI, chomping at what is even good content nowadays. And I know this is one of your soapboxes, so I'm so freaking excited.
It is. Well, because I can't even go on LinkedIn anymore, because it's just AI generated content, and it's not just content, then it's AI generated comments. Instead of the authenticity that I think we all crave.
Yeah.
It's now everyone feels like there's an easy button, and it's obvious what's written by AI. And I love myself a good emoji, but it's random emojis, M dashes, bolding. It's like, come on, at least like clean it up.
Exactly. However's, therefores, thus, like
how many
just all
adjectives?
These fillers. Oh my gosh. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And to be clear, we're not saying don't use AI. We're just saying stop flushing your brain down the toilet and trying to find an easy button. Because what content is supposed to do is it's supposed to influence another human being. It's supposed to help a person take a baby step of progress towards something they want, or towards overcoming something they're struggling with. There's no easy button in becoming a better version of yourself, or a more, realized version of success for your organization. It's not freaking easy.
No.
And so like one little piece of automated content is not going to be like, wow, it just scaled your business. It's insane.
No. And I think people want that genuine feeling. I think there's something to that bit of messiness that comes as you're going through the journey.
Yeah.
And to wash all that out just feels, I don't like it. Like, it just feels unnatural to me. And so as someone, like, I enjoy genuine interactions with people. It's very hard for me, which makes it hard being a CMO, because I want to make sure that I'm delivering and giving the best recommendations to my clients. And this is not an AI hate segment at all, because I use AI constantly.
Yeah, we're very aggressive with it. Yes.
I think it's about the smart utilization of AI and how that affects your content strategy.
And B2B AI is cannibalizing, and all marketing AI is cannibalizing what we know as effective digital strategy right now.
Yeah.
And we're constantly trying to catch up and make sure that we're staying on whatever cutting edge, because I don't even know if there's a bleeding edge anymore, because it's just going so fast, to understand how do we adopt. But I think, especially thinking about AI, I kind of want to give the audience like a how did we get here type of like background from a chief marketing officer's perspective. And I'm curious like if you'll agree with what I'm saying. So there's a major disconnect with what you want to publish in content for your marketing versus what actually gets found by the algorithms and then placed in front of your target market. And so it was a major mistake that we saw people making, is they would say, well, I want to talk about my product, or I want to talk about this thing happening in the industry. But the disconnect was, are people searching it? Is it trending? Is there any sort of data that we can give back to the machines that says, hey, we're talking about something that people are interested in, so that then they serve it up. So I don't care if you're talking about SEO or hashtags or social media. There had to be a bridge that B2B marketing really was not very good at, between what we want to say and what you need to say in order to be found and in order to be visible. So now these growth hack type of headlines are really SEO dominated, especially if you're using SEO AI tools. They're pulling from keyword strategy and volumes and competitive, or they're supposed to be, right? And then saying, hey, this is what your headline should be. Now, 2-3 years ago, especially before that, but even as recently as 2 and 3 years ago, you implement that and like, especially in B2B marketing, like, holy cow, you just started winning. But now AI just accelerated the ability to cross that bridge. And people are now, constantly pushing it out. And so now it's getting super wonky because the SEO rules are changing like day to day to day. But now what is thought leadership? And like, how do you balance saying something unique using AI and then also being found by the algorithms? And that's the scenario that we're in right now. So I just kind of wanted to give everybody like a super fast history lesson on like what's behind what's happening.
Yeah. Well, you used one of my trigger words, which is growth hacking, which I've never been a huge fan of because I've never thought you could hack growth. Like, I guess, I mean, if you want to be shady, some of those tactics were pretty shady.
Yeah,
I just never thought you could hack true, genuine growth.
Sustainable, predictable growth.
No.
Completely agree.
It was interesting whenever AI first hit, I was working with a very, very smart head of product at one of my old startups. And he made a very astute observation that all content would start becoming mediocre. Ugh. It would start lowering the bar of what excellent really looks like. And so because it's kind of that snake eating its own tail, everything would hit the average of mediocrity. And I think that's where we are in a lot of ways, unfortunately. And it makes it harder for the people who have genuine voices and have a genuine position to break through all of that, which is unfortunate. I feel like we lose something with that.
Yeah, 100%. So where do you go from here? Like, if you find yourself, especially in that situation where you're like, I do know my voice and I do have a point of view that I think really is valuable to the world I live in, or even to the broader world, and I want to get it out there. Like, what do you recommend for literally like navigating the crazy environment that we're in and still accomplishing that authenticity?
Yeah. I firmly believe that people want that authentic conversation, and I think they're looking for it. So I would say stick to what you have to say and be consistent. That doesn't mean you ignore all of the AI and SEO best practices that are coming, because to what you were talking about with the history, you have to be speaking to what people are looking for and what they need. So I think it's a balance. It's not one or the other.
Yeah.
I think you have to marry those two things together. And that could be actually a lot of room for some creativity and some fun, fun headlines, fun content that you add, being maybe a little tongue-in-cheek about it, which sometimes B2B, they're not that interested in being funny, but you could do something creative with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know how popular, I think people who want the shortcut are not going to love this, but one of my favorite tips and things that I challenge myself to do is to think through, what do I want to say first? And then hit it up in whichever AI tool matches with what I'm doing, so that I already have a framework where I can be like, agree, disagree, and where it can maybe flesh out my thinking or help me cultivate deeper, or, populate like, oh, okay, I want to say this, and here's the keywords, that I need to do, to blend. But I want to be anchored in my thinking, my value, because there was a reason that I'm like, I want to. And on top of that, it's the only way to avoid the mediocre, is to actually challenge yourself to not be, because if you're okay with mediocre and you're like, I just want a 5-minute blog or 5-minute, I want to spend only 5 minutes to populate 25 different posts that I'm going to post on social media. Well, yeah, that's mediocre, because you pre-decided that efficiency and speed was more important than your authentic voice and really exerting influence. And that's what we're talking about when we're talking about content and thought leadership. Is it's supposed to help people take a baby step on a pathway of progress. Like your voice is supposed to pave a pathway of progress and change and transformation for other people. And you're right, you can't hack that, like, because these are human hearts, you know, and businesses and cultures having to adjust. And you probably have something good to say about that because you're living it too.
Hey, Marketing Blender listeners, we have something exciting to share with you.
Our traditional YouTube show and podcast is expanding. We're going to be doing deeper dives on career, technology, innovations, and the stories behind amazing campaigns on our show.
You know, sometimes we have these conversations that are incredible, amazing. They've got wonderful ideas behind them, but they don't quite fit within our traditional model here on The Blender Show.
Yes, a perfect example of that is career advice. We get a lot of questions about that. We also get a lot of questions about AI and how things are changing and what to expect. And sometimes the best stuff is what we didn't say on camera. So this new evolution is where these moments get their chance to shine.
Think of this as our creative workshop, where we get to explore everything from breaking into the marketing industry to innovative leadership approaches, even interviews with CEOs, but all within the high quality insights you've come to expect from the Blender team.
And the best part, everything's self-contained. Whether it's a single episode on a very specific deep dive, or sometimes we will be even doing mini series, you'll be able to get exactly what you want, when you want, where you want it.
You'll be able to find this as a playlist on all of your favorite platforms, the same place that you already get the Marketing Blender Show.
Oh, and tip, there is going to be some subscriber-only content, so little benefit for you that follow us every week.
So hit that subscribe button, stay tuned, and we'll see you guys soon.
So what you triggered for me right there is like, you have to trust your own voice.
Yeah.
And that's where AI becomes very effective is how you just laid it out, is come with a perspective, come with an outline of what you want to say, and then use AI to help you polish it, add ideas that maybe you didn't think about. Like there's a lot of value in bringing AI and your perspective together and marrying those two things.
Yeah, absolutely. And using the paid versions where you have a project or multiple projects specific where it keeps learning you.
Yes.
Like I also, you know, that authentic voice. I love super long prompts. Long. That means they took time for my brain and my heart and my skepticism to put those together.
Yeah.
And then argue with it. Be like, no, I hate how you said that. I would never say that. I would never use those verbs. Go back, you know, and tweak and learn and just keep populating it, because if you do it well, then it can be a really amazing reflection, but it's not, oh, first time. Got it. Nailed it.
Nailed it. All set.
Growth hack. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and the people who are using AI effectively are doing exactly what you're saying, you know, where you can't tell what they're writing, whether it's AI supported or not, because they've taken the time to actually come up with and work with it in a way that sounds very genuine in themselves and where it fits their values. And I think it takes someone who has a strong position and a strong set of values to take it in that direction. And, you know, and people respond really positively to that.
Agreed. So, you know, when I'm thinking like, okay, what advice would I give to somebody on this? Like, number one, it starts with consistency. The only thing that is guaranteed to break through the noise is how consistent you are, and then consistently watching the data on what worked, and then exploring why it worked and doubling down. Like you have to go on a journey, but you have to teach the machines when you're posting. You know, typically we're talking social media here, we're talking Google and SEO. For right now, SEO practices and consistent social media are the only things that we know that get pulled, especially video content, that get pulled into AI chatbots. So little tip there about B2B AI and how to get searched on SEO for B2B marketing, you know, is the consistency, you know, and following best practices. I think also just start. I think people get analysis by paralysis.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and it doesn't matter if we're talking mid-market B2B company with a CEO that's like, oh, I want everything to be perfect, or I don't know if we should say that, down to an individual solopreneur or coach or consultant, you know, that has so much on the line and overthinks everything. No one's going to see your first stuff.
No.
Keep it simple, learn, you know, and just start going on that journey. But I also believe that journey develops your voice. You know, I mean, there's so many of us where it's like, we know what we think. And then we get in front of a camera or we get behind our keyboard and we're like, no, I don't know what I think. What was I going to think?
Am I sure about that?
Like,
I don't think
who do I think I am? Why am I going to put, no.
Am I weird? No.
Exactly. You know, so I think you have to go on that journey
Yeah.
where you learn, oh man, I said that, and the sky is still the sky, and the ground is still where it's supposed to be, and
Yeah.
my world did not come caving in because, you know, I put something out there that wasn't perfect. You know, I think that from a heart perspective as well as an effectiveness perspective
Yeah.
is kind of like one of my big encouragements for people is you've got to start building a practice of watching data and giving the market what they want.
Yeah. I mean, doing what we're doing here is hard, and it does take a step of faith in yourself to be able to do it. And that can be very scary, but it's a step at a time. I mean, and I can't sit here on a soapbox because I write stuff and I never post it, even though I should, because I don't think it's, you know, it might be reacted to in like a way I didn't intend and things like that. So I'm still learning how to do this because I'm so used to being a little bit behind the scenes and like just doing my thing, but to come forward with a position can be scary. So I agree, like it's just baby steps and fine tuning it over time. You know, you can work with like, you know, brand specialists, personal people that could help you develop it if you want to invest in it. But yeah, it takes time.
Yeah. And I want people to think phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Like, be okay with being a beginner. And then, you know, a knowledgeable beginner, you know, and then an amateur, right? Like, be okay with that growth system, own it publicly, you know, I mean, even saying like, okay, guys, like, I'm just getting going here, so I'd love your feedback. Like, that's authentic. And it's not something that AI is going to do, you know, by really trying to build real relationships. So I love the phased thinking to just let people off the hook. And then going back to how do I, you know, balancing visibility with thought leadership. So, okay, use the tools, do keyword research, do trend analysis, and then have a unique point of view around that.
Yeah.
Right. So if you find an SEO keyword or, you know, SEO and social media or trend, and if you're like, it's BS, well, there's your post.
Yeah.
Use the headline that's going to get, and then have an authentic point of view, right? You know, so you can use fundamentally good principles. And then you do, you know, get on video, you know, like use the newer tools, use the things that, you know, that the algorithms like and that are now prioritizing, you know, learn a little bit about that. But for me, that's a phase 1 is give people what they want with your own unique voice. And then I think you have to earn the right into thought leadership, because even if you have something super brilliant, but you only did it once, right? Like, did it get visible? You know, recirculate that, earn the right. Like, you have to build a following for real thought leadership to be leadership, meaning like you're leading your peers, you're leading the industry, you're leading change. It means you have to have followers. Like, that's the definition of a leader, whether it's online or, you know, like in person. You have to have followers to be a true thought leader, which means you have to earn the right. And you, back to no growth hacks, you have to go on the journey to become that, you know. How to be an overnight influencer. No, like, that is not how it works. I wish, right?
I wish it was like that.
I know, exactly. But then we would just be back to mediocre.
Yeah,
you have to be committed to this. Okay, what other tips would you give for people when they're trying to think thought leadership or content marketing?
So one of the first things I did was write down, and this was brainstorming with you and other people, where I felt like I had a perspective. And that can be hard in of itself because everyone has a special perspective, whether they realize it or not.
Yes.
And because everyone has unique experiences. So really thinking about what that is and then building kind of your content or your thoughts around that. You know, like I really believe in building relationships, and relationships is the way to forward.
Yeah.
And then how does that represent itself within business and, strategy and everything. So that was kind of my foundation in building from that. Now, like I said, I haven't been the best at being consistent because I do, get in my head a little bit. But that was the foundation that I now have. And then I, just doing things like this. Like the first one of these I did with you, I didn't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah.
So like I was just like, but now I actually move my hands. Which is very, it's very nice. So, and like I feel like, and just working on the body language. But every time you do it, it's a little bit better. So just get into like the habit of being uncomfortable.
Yeah, you do end up finding your style just through repeatability. Like,
yeah.
100%. I love your specific example because a lot of people are going to be like, well, everybody cares about relationship. No, that's not true. Like as a fundamental pillar of who you are, what you teach the world. Like a lot of times it is something so fundamental that people keep zooming past it. And like, I value relationship. It's not one of my pillars. No way and no way would I sound authentic if I were to bring that same thinking, because I can't bring your thinking, but that same topic to my social media. No, like one of mine, and it took me years to land on this. Like I hovered all around it, but it's about unleashing potential. And then there's lots of nuances to that, like being brave, investing in yourself, like taking baby steps, like progress and growth, but like how to unleash potential, whether organizational or individual, and step into it. But same, like a lot of people are going to be like, well, of course, like everybody wants to reach their potential, but for whatever reason, that is my like ding, like that fires me up. I get mad about it. I get excited about it. Like I just am like, this is what I wanted. This is what I wanted to give people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And similar to understanding and investing in relationships for you is that it's not, what did they say? There's nothing new under the sun. There doesn't need to be. Like no one can have your special voice, and no one in the history of the world or in the future will ever have your unique voice. So we get so scared to put things out there, but it's not about that. It's about, contributing something worthy instead of raw mediocrity, which is really the environment. 100% agree with you that we're in today.
Yeah, I agree with you. People would be like, relationships, that sounds like bullshit. But it really isn't whenever you're working with people day in and day out to try to build something special.
Yeah.
Because so many times businesses fail because there's not the right team in place, or you don't know how to build the right team. You don't know how to get that right mix of people that work well together.
Yeah.
Or communicate, or know how to communicate.
Yeah.
Or run from conflict instead of, having the tough conversations. So really for me, a relationship is a foundation for like all those other strategic things that I would like to do and accomplish with a team. So it's not bullshit at the end of the day. It's just, how I choose to and feel. It's not even a choice. It's just who I am. Like go through my career and my life. So
exactly. And just stepping out is worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, like I don't ever want anybody to get to a point where they're like, I wish I would have said this, or I could have been at the beginning of, this trend or this thing, or I was thinking that. Like, how many of us are like, that I had that business idea 10 years ago if I just would have done something with it.
Totally.
Now it's huge. The same thing is for our voice and our point of view. Like I really want to challenge people, like stop complaining about how fast and where technology is taking us if you're not going to contribute like your voice and your point of view publicly to that. Like either you're a victim or you're an advocate. Like choose wisely.
Yeah. And it's going to go forward with or without you.
Yeah.
You don't have, it's not optional.
No.
It is what it is at this point.
No.
So, I think, I talked to you before going into this topic where I was like, I don't know if we're going to like agree on everything, because I think some of this is total, like, some of this, by this I mean just AI generated content and like just the amount of noise out there. I wasn't sure if we would agree or disagree or what the discussion would be. We agree. But yeah, so it's just being able to be open to like where the conversation takes you.
Exactly. Okay. I have one thing. I'll be curious if we agree on this or not. I have personal reasons, which I'll explain on like why I like to be skeptical. But Gary Vee for years has been like, more content, 20 posts a day on 20 different platforms, blah, 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 blah. And then he also says like, you shouldn't sleep more than 4 hours a night because I don't. Like nonsense. But okay, so I understand that volume hacking worked. I don't know if it works now. I assume it probably does. But it drives me crazy. Now I disagree. Like, I think there's a balance. Like, you can't just post once a week or once a month or, God forbid, once a year, right? Like, like there has to be that consistency and a commitment to the journey and the influence you want to have.
Yeah.
But I am really struggling with this find the volume, because the roar in the world is so frustrating. And like, how do you put out 20 amazing pieces of content that's unique and authentic? Like, I am really struggling with this one.
It's hard. I mean, part of me, the CMO mind is like, it depends on your goals, and like if you want impressions over and followers over, like, more smaller amount of interactions. The problem is like on LinkedIn, you get rewarded for that behavior.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's really hard because the algorithms are designed to reward you for that.
Yeah.
And that's why the people are doing it. And that's why it's a hack.
Yeah.
So I think and I don't have an answer, to be candid, I don't have an answer for that, because I would love to be able to tell people, oh, post once a week, post once a month, it'll be fine. But you don't get rewarded for it.
I know. Exactly. I think you can bulk create content. I think back to your overthinking prompt, that a lot of times, and I see this in my own content, I could probably take one piece of content and turn it into 10.
Oh, yeah.
And just remembering, like, it is like a clipped shorts, reels type of world, and so you can do one big thing and then chop it up. So I think there's some smart ways. Now, side note, if you are a Blender client, you do not get to do less content. Like, there is not a single one of our clients that does too much content or is pushing us to get them out there more.
That's a good, yeah.
So side note, if you are a B2B company, you probably ain't doing enough B2B thought leadership or B2B marketing content.
Definitely not enough video, I'll say that much. Yeah, no, we are not advocating, for the record, to not do more content. We're just trying to figure out how to do smart content. But video is what is the name of the game.
I know, exactly. Well, I think I'm going to go hunt down a B2B company, if there are any, who are doing so much volumes of content and see what they're seeing. Because I would love, to see like what's on the flip side. Because we probably do more content than any of our clients, maybe some of them added together. And we're nowhere close to too much, So, but we're doing what we're capable of doing for now. And then we'll just see where it goes.
That's a really good point. It's about what you're capable of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
There was this one guy on LinkedIn that I followed for a while, and I was like, oh, he's like, seems good. And then all of a sudden I'm like, no, you're full of shit. Like, I'm not going to say who he is because a lot of people follow him. But, and then I realized it was.
I will on a short. Just wait for it.
I'd be like, wow, you seem really smart. And then all of a sudden it became more of like a sales pitch. And I think that's another part of it. Not all your content has to be a sales pitch. Like, it doesn't have to be.
Please no.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't have to be about this, that, this product, this feature, this functionality. I 100%. Mean, do like your, animated videos and demo videos. Don't not do those, but balance it with.
Exactly.
Humans.
Exactly. And I think as going around this circle, I do have one more tip that we see so many companies abandon, and it's be super clear on your audience. Like, do not put, and that does cut through. Like, if you can name your audience, like in a short, in a reel, in a piece of content, like, hey, I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
That does cut through, and then it does make your content so much sharper, because you have a real human being in mind that you're trying to drive value for. And amazingly, you usually do, because like, you're like, I don't want to be mediocre for you. That's embarrassing. So ironically, in just a one-to-one mindset as well as a one-to-many mindset of marketing, like making sure you nail that targeting can really help you beat the B2B AI mediocrity that's out there, and make sure that you're cutting through and that you're really hitting your audience because you meant to.
I love that. That means, you have to have that foundational brand work locked in.
Yeah, exactly.
Understand who you're talking to and why.
Absolutely. So, Crystal, this was so fun. Guys, we would love to have you a part of the conversation. Send us your comments, send us your questions, send us what your experiences is. We would love to highlight and even showcase the work if you're winning in this environment, so that we can share that with people and show them what really great, authentic B2B content leadership and thought leadership is. But please hit that subscribe button. We're super excited to hang out with you. And spoiler alert, we will be doing many updates, minimum quarterly, on how is AI changing B2B marketing and what you can expect and what are we seeing in the trenches. So definitely subscribe if you're interested in that. We would love to hear from you as well. Onward and upward.